sort of alluded to it a second ago, then I manage our student recruitment team here at AAT, and that's a team that's dedicated to supporting prospective students, help make them a decision about whether or not to pursue the AAT qualification. And the content for today's webinar is based on some of the main questions that get asked within the team. So that's myself anyway. Lauren, if you wouldn't mind doing a quick intro.
Yeah, so my name is Lauren and I'm a course advisor at Training Link. With Training Link now actually 12 months today.
Oh wow, good. Happy anniversary.
Yeah, thank you.
So thanks, Lauren. And Jennifer, if you wouldn't mind just doing a quick
Hi, I'm Jennifer. I'm an AAT tutor. I primarily do level 4 and I've been with Training Link for 18 months now.
That's fantastic. Thanks, Jennifer. So we should have hopefully a good spread of expertise here, and so we'll kick start with the presentation then. So just to really give you a flavour of what we're going to talk about today. So one of the things that we get asked, I don't know whether this is with yourselves as well, but kind of just what is AAT? So we'll address that one first and foremost, who it is that we are and what it is that we do. So we'll just talk through that one first of all at a high level. Then just to talk through the different qualification strands with AAT. Then Lauren and Jennifer will do a presentation on behalf of Training Link, really to help you understand better what distance learning is and what the unique experience is of studying with Training Link. And there's a couple of bits of content, including a video and the opportunity to ask questions during or at the end as well. And then just to talk through one of the main things we get asked at from the student recruitment team is how the assessments work. So we'll be talking through that as well. The membership side of things as well. So as you progress through the qualification, what the different levels of membership are. And then just so it's not us talking the whole time, and you have an opportunity to ask questions, mention we'll try to leave in the region of about 15 to 20 minutes at the end. So I did mention there'll be a few polls in order for you guys to interact during the webinar. So you guys ever attended a webinar?
Yes.
Before, yeah? Okay.
Yes, lots of webinars.
There's different types of webinars, aren't there, actually? Yeah, so for instance, we do ourselves host study support ones to support students. What kind of ones have you guys attended previously then? More informative ones, for instance? Yeah. Okay, so we'll just publish those results for you. So, very interesting actually, a 50-50 split. So, so today's webinar, I've already touched on it. It's really an informative exercise, and hopefully you should come away from it feeling a bit more clued up as to whether or not AAT is the right option for you. There will be afterwards a follow-up email sent with a link to a recording and some of the other resources as well that we've covered today, so you can have a bit more of a think about it. And likewise, if you do want to speak with an advisor for further information, we can facilitate that as well. So first of all, as I mentioned, one of the things that we get asked within the team is like, what is AAT, or who is it that we are? So I'm sure you're aware it stands for Associate Accounting Technician. So we're classified as a professional membership body. Our main focus really, I guess, is providing qualifications that are skills-based for people that come from a diverse background, people that are completely new to accountancy or working in accountancy as well, that are looking for qualifications to back up that experience. We're predominantly UK-based. About 90% of our students and members are based in the UK. We do have an overseas reach as well. We do have an international strategy to promote qualification overseas and build the brand. But the good thing is that because the qualification is skills-based, it does transport pretty well to overseas locations. And we'll touch on that a bit later on, how it works to study overseas as well and where our assessment day is based. So we're not here to do a hard sale today, but I guess just to touch on a few of the key points with regards to why AAT. So touched on the membership aspect of AAT. So one of the things with AAT is you're not just studying the qualification, you become a member as well, and that comes with a range of benefits really. So it puts you as part of a wider network of fellow professionals, so fellow accountants, for instance, and other people working within the industry. So as part of that, there's events you can attend and so forth. So you can really get out there and network yourself as a professional. You're not just studying a qualification. And that really is a key benefit of studying the AAT qualification. So we're just about to get to our 40th birthday this year, actually. been around since 1980. So yeah, really well respected within the UK and globally, and just coming up to that 40th milestone pretty soon as well. Probably referred to this a few times during the presentation actually, but real world skills, and that's where AAT success has really been, to be honest with you. It's been practical skills that employers look for. So employers like AAT, and you'll see that reflected in out there at the job market. A lot of employers will look for people that are qualified within AAT because they know the people that have done the qualification are able to come in and do the job to a competent standard. And that really, in a nutshell, is one of the really key selling points of AAT and where the success has been. We award around 90% of UK vocational qualifications in accountancy, and the qualifications are open to everyone. That's one kind of mantras that are open to everyone, and we do attract quite a diverse selection of people who are completely new to accountancy and people who do have perhaps some prior work experience as well. So we try to cater for that diverse selection of people, and that's what the slide is referring to, really open to everyone, regardless of previous qualifications and or experience. We do require the students of a basic level of numeracy and literacy, but there are good qualifications for people that are starting out completely within the workplace. So that was a quick intro really to AAT. Now we're going to get a little bit more in depth into the different qualifications that we offer. I'm sure that's one of the key things that you're looking to get out of today. So we'll talk through, and I should stress really, this is what we're doing today, just giving you the top level information. If you do want more of the detail, we can either talk through that with you in an advisory capacity, or there's material you can read through in a bit more detail. But hopefully today should give you a real flavour anyway, or indication as to how the qualifications work, the structure and so forth. So we've got the accountancy route, which we're going to go into in a bit more detail in a second, and then the bookkeeping route as well. So just again, it's not just us talking to you, a poll's just popped up now, you should be able to see that. Are you more interested in our bookkeeping or accountancy qualifications? What do you tend to find within your team? We tend to find really within the student recruitment team that sway slightly towards accountancy,
yes,
but bookkeeping is gaining a bit in popularity.
Yes, but the accounting pathway has slightly more popularity. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, the accounting qualification is AAT's long-standing qualification, so I think it's part of a legacy of that. See that trend. However, you can see there quite a large majority there towards accountancy and minority there in bookkeeping, but we're covering both bases today actually anyway. But yeah, we are finding that the bookkeeping qualifications are starting to gain a bit more popularity, or they have done in recent years. We've had the bookkeeping membership, which has helped, and the license. So, but yeah, thanks very much for submitting that anyway. And we'll get through to talking through the information. Go on to talking through the information, sorry. So the accountancy route. So one of the main things we get asked about is costs. How much does it cost to study the course? So just to give you an indication as to how the fees break down. So the fees really break down into 4 key areas for the accountancy route with AAT. So you've got fees that you pay directly to the AAT to register as a member, and we'll come on to the bookkeeping in a second, but it does work a little bit differently. So you've got a membership fee of £99, which needs to be renewed every 12 months as long as you're actively studying the course. There's a one-off joining fee that you only pay once, so long as your membership remains active. Then you've got the tuition fee that you'll pay directly to a training provider. We do recommend to speak with a few to find the best one for you and not to just focus too much on cost. Actually, it's important to find the right one for you. You've got that fee that you would pay directly to a training provider. And then you've got the assessment fees as well, which work slightly differently according to how you study the course. So if you're doing distance learning, we'll come on to this in a bit more detail in a second, but if you're doing distance learning, essentially, you pay as you go and you sit the assessments when you're ready to do so. And the assessments are held regularly throughout the year, so there's quite a degree of flexibility there. It tends to cost in the region of about £80 to £90, don't you, the assessments, yeah. Again, like the training provider, actually, we do recommend to shop around a bit to find the right one for you. We do have a service on our website where you can see them in order of your location. But essentially, that makes up the key fees, really, that you pay to study the course. Fee to join the fee to study the course, and then the assessment fee as well. If you're doing a classroom course, it's worth mentioning that the fees will tend to be included in the overall fee that you pay to the college, and you'll sit the assessment actually at the college itself. So the bookkeeping qualifications, now the fees work quite differently for bookkeeping. This was something that was introduced last year. With the bookkeeping qualifications, you pay transactionally. So each of those different qualifications that you should hopefully be able to see there, which are the Foundation Certificate in Bookkeeping, the Foundation Award in Accounting Software, and the Advanced Certificate in Bookkeeping, you pay a fee of £48 per qualification. That gives you access to all of AAT's study resources for those particular qualifications. There is a tuition fee that's applicable, which again you pay directly to the training provider, just like the accountancy route. And then you've got the assessment fees, which work exactly the same as the what I just described previously as well. So you would pay for them flexibly with a distance learning course, or as part of the package if it's a classroom provider as well. So just to touch on the bookkeeping, just go into that in a little bit more detail. So you've got two modules that make up the Foundation Certificate in Bookkeeping. Typically that takes in the region of about 12 months for people to complete the bookkeeping certificate, doesn't it? Yeah, on average. That's a very kind of like ballpark average figure, because it depends on the student and how you study the course, but on average that one takes about 12 weeks. And then you've got the Foundation Award in Accounting Software, which takes, it's only one assessment connected to one module, and that takes about half the time of that. It's about 6 weeks to complete that one altogether. Then you've got the Advanced Certificate in Bookkeeping, which is 3 modules. Now that one takes a little bit longer. You're looking at around 6 months for that one altogether. So quite conceivably, within a year, you can be a qualified bookkeeper actually and have those letters AAT, QB after your name. So we're going to go into a little bit more detail now with regards to our accounting qualification. So you've got the Foundation Certificate in Accountancy. That is our level 2 qualification, level 5 in Scotland. So it consists of 5 modules altogether, each of which have an assessment attached to them. So you've got 2 bookkeeping modules there, bookkeeping transactions and bookkeeping controls. Now that's actually the Foundation Certificate in Bookkeeping that I just talked through a second ago. What we've done with that bookkeeping qualification is just lifted those 2 modules out of it and repackaged it into that. But the key topic here, anyway, is double entry bookkeeping, and that's really what you have to get your head around and get to grips with, as it underpins the whole qualification, really, doesn't it? Yeah. So that comes first of all. Training providers tend to teach those modules first of all. Then you're introduced to costing at this level as well. Foundation Certificate in Accounting, and then you've got what's called a synoptic assessment. Now this is unique to the accounting qualification. This doesn't exist with bookkeeping at all, but as you can probably see from the diagram there, that one module teaches you what you've learned on, well, basically it ensures that you have to apply what you've learned in all of those other 3 modules and apply the skills into one holistic assessment, which is what we refer to as a synoptic assessment. And that's what we regard as an enhancement for the qualification, actually, because that really is kind of putting the skills into practice as you would do in a real life situation and a bit more. So you've got that module there, the synoptic assessment, and then finally you've got the using accounting software module. Now with this one, it depends on the training provider, which one you actually study with, which accountancy software package. With you guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's Sage? Yeah. Sage 50, which is the desktop version of Sage, isn't it, essentially? But some of them use the cloud one, Sage 1, and then you've got a range of other ones out there, haven't you, as well, like QuickBooks, for instance, Xero, etc., which is becoming more popular. But essentially, it provides you with that skill set that you need to use accounting software. When you actually then go to sit the at an assessment venue, then you'll be set a task basically where you have to implement that skill that you've learned. And the typical time frame of completing this one, again, this is very variable, but it's in the region of 9 to 12 months. I don't know whether you guys find that.
It can be done quicker if you've got the time.
Yeah, I've heard some quite extreme cases of that, people doing it in like a couple of months or something. Or I think the most extreme one was the whole qualification in 6 months, actually.
Oh, wow.
That's a very extreme case. And as an average, looking at around 9 to 12 months. Following on from that, so you've got the advanced diploma in accounting. So this one's a little bit different. It's so it's 5 assessments altogether. You've got the 2 or the 3 modules that made up the advanced certificate of bookkeeping, which we just showed you a second ago. So that's advanced bookkeeping, final accounts prep, and indirect tax. You can see on the end there. But the key thing that you're introduced to at the accounting qualification is the management accounting side. And then there's another, just like the foundation certificate in accounting, you've got the synoptic assessment, which is split into 2 parts when you're actually doing the assessment and ethics section at the beginning and then spreadsheets. Just like the one we talked through previously, it requires you to apply what you've learned, all of those other preceding 3 modules, which you should see there. Again, it's a real good test for how things actually work in the real world, so applying that wide range of skills. And then you've got indirect tax, which sits on its own actually. The time frame for this one tends to find around the same as the foundation certificate, maybe a little bit longer in some instances. So finally, AAT's final qualification level is its professional diploma in accounting. So this one works a bit differently. You've got the 4 mandatory units, but then 2 optional ones as well. So there's an extension of management accounting, as you'll be able to see there, and the 2 modules. And then you've also got financial statements, so a bit of a mixture of financial accounting and management accounting. And then the synoptic assessment, which covers the key themes of those preceding 3 modules. And then you've got the 2 optional ones you can go for. And the decision around this tends to be which direction the individual's careers, the tax modules are.
Most popular.
Oh, there, yeah, okay. And then in terms of after that, some people go on to chartered accountancy, obviously, don't they? And then that would connect onto that. Yeah, exactly. So it's worth thinking through to get to that point. If you go on to do chartered, which optional module, would sit best with regards to that. Now, this one does tend to take a little bit longer, doesn't it, on average? Looking probably more about 18 months altogether with this one. So, and yeah, so it's 6 assessments altogether. Once you complete that journey, then that qualifies you as an accounting technician. There is a further stage, which is full membership, which we'll talk through towards the end of the presentation. But that concludes AAT's accounting qualification. Anyway, it's those 3 stages. Now, the starting point, we were discussing this earlier, actually, weren't we, that how important this is, the starting point. It's really important that you start at the right level, because otherwise it's counterproductive in the sense that if you start too further into the qualification, you haven't got to grips with the basics, you're going to struggle. So very important that you make the right decision about this in conjunction with the training provider. But the majority, as a rule, the majority of students with no relevant prior qualifications or experience will start off at that level 2 foundation certificate accounting, which we just talked through a second ago. But the starting point is ultimately at the discretion of the training provider. We do have what's called a skill check, and that's AAT's own web service, which consists of, I believe, about 30 questions, and at the end, it will indicate where your strengths and weaknesses are, and we'll give you a recommended starting point, but should stress that really you should work in conjunction with the provider for that. But yeah, it's a really good exercise to do initially anyway, just to give you an idea as to what the best starting point is. You can actually print the result off and hand it over to the training provider as well. So that concludes the first part of the presentation. So at this stage, I should hand over to Lauren.
Thank you very much. So we thought we would start by giving a little bit of information on who Training Link are. So Training Link were established in 1996. So we do have 24 years of experience. We are experts in what we do. So we focus on accounting, bookkeeping and payroll. We believe that success does start with the right study material. So we're very proud to say that we do actually write our own course material, and we receive great feedback with this. Our course books are constantly being reviewed. Our experienced tutors do scrutinise each unit, example and activity. So we always have one question in mind: how can we make this even better? So an example of this, for example, if a student of ours perhaps maybe fails a mock or struggles with an activity, we will actually review that question to see whether we can make an improvement, so the student has a better understanding.
It's quite a good level of support there.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so why would you study distance learning? So I just thought I'd talk you through some of the benefits of choosing to study with a distance learning provider. So you can learn at your own pace and study wherever you want. It's around your own personal schedule, so around your job, any family commitments that you have, or any hobbies. There's no need to be organising things like childcare. It's all from the comfort of your own home. You can study at any time, so if you wanted to get up and study at 2 in the morning, you can. Your course is accessible 24/7. There's also no need to be travelling and to get to a class on time. It completely fits around you. One of the strong benefits is that it is cost effective, so much more affordable than the traditional college. A benefit of this, many employers are likely to be able to fund a distance learning course, and also it means that their employees are having to take a day's leave or perhaps leave work early, as again it fits around the schedule. And I think another benefit of distance learning is that you can start at any time. It's all about when you're ready, and there's no set enrolment dates.
Yeah, the flexibility, distance learning is extremely popular within our team, actually, in terms of the people that contact us. And yeah, the flexibility is definitely one of the main things. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Right, so what does your course include? You'll receive award-winning tutor support. You can contact your tutor by email or phone. All our workbooks are up to date with the syllabus, and more importantly, they're easy to follow. So you'll receive a professionally printed workbook for every unit. This is great for making notes in and highlighting any things that you specifically need to remember. Our books include practical hands-on activities, because we don't just teach you how to pass the exam, we teach you how to do the job in real life. We have an online platform called Rogo. In here you'll find additional resources, our ebooks, there's an end of chapter assignment.
Sorry about that. You like touching the tape over there. Quite easy, mightn't it?
Yeah. So I forgot where I was now.
Yeah.
End of chapter assessment. At the end of each chapter, you'll be instructed to log into your account and complete an assignment. This ensures that you've got a full understanding of the chapter. So the assignments are available 24/7. They are instantly marked, so you don't have to wait days for a tutor to mark it or anything like that. So if you want to work at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, you can. You just carry on because you haven't got to wait for anybody. You will receive personal tutor feedback for any that you've got wrong. Your tutor will email you and let you know where your errors were to make sure that you understand. So we've got a student services department. This is open 7 days a week. So if you're having any problems, just drop them an email and they'll be happy to help. So our Sage software package for level 2 using accounting software. We use Sage 50 Professional. We don't use the cloud accounting ones because we find it's easier to learn off the proper desktop version and the full version. It works out better in the long run. There's no additional charges for that. That's included in the course price, so there's no additional subscription fees or anything like that. So everything is included. You know, any more additional resources, everything's included in your Rogo account. Everything you need will be in there. So we've got a private Facebook group for support and chat with tutors and fellow students. So this is Student Street. So there's no need to learn how to use a new app or website. Everyone knows how to Facebook. So once you purchase the course, we'll invite you to our private Facebook group, and you can talk to other students and our tutors. So distance learning can feel isolating at times. So having a chat with fellow students and can make you feel not so isolated. If you're stuck on a question, you can put it in the group, and someone's always willing to help. And sometimes another student explaining a concept to a student can work really well because they simplify it down into its boring form and don't overcomplicate it.
That peer-to-peer support is one of the things that, like I said, people can feel a bit isolated, but social media can really fulfill that.
We cover it with this, So if you've passed an exam and you're absolutely bursting to tell someone in the group and everybody's well done, congratulations.
And it motivates you then to continue. And exactly.
Yeah, it's a really nice group. So we've got 1,200 members in there. These are past and present students, so there's lots of experience and to go around.
Yeah, fantastic. So thanks, so Jennifer, over to you.
Thank you. Okay, so reasons to choose Training Link then. So why should you choose us for your AAT training? So we are the winner of 20 awards, and this is something that we are really proud of. So we have the AAT Best New Training Provider of the Year in 2018. We have the ICB Training Provider of the Year, and we've actually done that now, haven't we? 8 years consecutively.
8 consecutive years.
Yes. We also have the PQ Magazine Online College of the Year in 2019. And we are actually shortlisted for a further 3 awards tonight. And 3 of our students, so do wish us luck with that.
Fingers crossed.
And just continuing, so we are an accounting and bookkeeping specialist, distance learning provider, so we really are experts in what we do. This means we can focus on creating easy to follow course materials and providing the gold standard of tutor support. And that's why our average AAT pass rates are. So you can see here we have the AAT pass rates and Training Link, and we are very proud of our results. Just as an example, with level 2, Training Link there currently sat at 94.2%, just above the average AAT pass rate. So hopefully that does give you some confidence in what we do. So what students say about us. So something that we would encourage when conducting your research is to have a look at Trustpilot reviews. So every Training Link student after 4 weeks of enrolling with us is contacted to leave a review. And the reason that we do this after 4 weeks is so the review is based on the study experience with Training Link and not necessarily the enrolment process like other providers perhaps. So it really does give you that great detailed response. Another option for you as well, we do have some video testimonials on our website from past students, and many of those students have now their own successful business, so you can actually have a look at those, and I believe that we have one to access.
We do, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I'll let you do that. Yes.
So yeah, just a short video clip coming in now, which hopefully helps to bring things for
It was just brilliant. The tutor support was always first class.
I had access to a tutor and could get a response pretty quickly.
Questions were always answered really quickly, answered really fully to check understanding.
It was so fast. Sometimes I would finish an assignment on a Sunday, email it off, not expecting anything until at least, late Monday. And sometimes even on that Sunday evening, they've got back to me already. I think and these guys just sit there waiting to mark assignments on the weekend.
Okay, so just as a webinar exclusive offer then, so if you're looking to begin your AAT studies in March, this is the perfect time to sign up. So we have an extra £50 off our AAT Level 2 accounting course. And we also have an extra £150 off our AAT Level 2, 3 and 4 plus Sage 50 professional package. And something to add with those 2 courses, they already include the AAT membership and registration, and that's actually worth £147. So it's a fantastic deal if you're looking to begin your studies. That will actually finish, I believe, on the 31st of March. We do have the checkout codes that you can enter so the discount will be applied. Or for more information, you can actually contact me direct. My email is there, so please feel free to contact me and I'll be more than happy to help.
That's great stuff. Thanks, Laura.
Thank you.
Excellent. So we'll just send Jennifer, we'll just wrap up the presentation now and then put out to the audience to see if you've got any questions at all. So one thing that we've referred to a number of times throughout the presentation is the assessments and how those work. So they're all computer-based tests that most of which are held regularly throughout the year at no set time. So that works really well with distance learning, actually, in terms of that flexibility that we've talked about already. But there are synoptic assessments which are held in scheduled windows within the year, and there's about, it does vary according to the level, doesn't it? So the foundation ones, for instance, are a lot more regular, aren't they? But the advanced and professionals are less frequent. So as a follow-up to this today's session, we can send you across the synoptic window calendar, actually, so you can see when they're coming up. But that's worth bearing in mind anyway. Now, the grading system. So new for this qualification, the accounting qualification, under the current syllabus, which we refer to as AQ 2016, a grading system was introduced. So now, in addition to, it used to just be pass or fail, essentially. Now we've actually introduced pass, merit and distinction, which we felt was a really good enhancement for the qualification and a good thing for students to try and aspire to. So in addition to passing the level of qualification, they can actually obtain a grade as well to further enhance the credibility of the qualification they've worked hard for. We've talked about it a couple of times already. There is a search tool for assessment venues, the link to which is there. Actually, you won't be able to access it through the slides, but we'll send it as a follow-up to today's presentation. And essentially what you can do is put your postcode or location in, and then it lists all the assessment venues within your local area. We do have a pretty good spread throughout the UK, actually. We do have international ones as well. Our main partner that we work with is British Council, and they've got a lot of assessment venues based around the world, actually. So you could be theoretically, I don't know whether you guys have got people studying overseas, but
yes,
the game distance learning works really well for that, because you study for wherever they're based around the world and then go to sit their assessments at a British Council or other venue that we have within that local area. And we talked about membership. So there's different levels of membership which refer to the different stages at which people are at within the accounting qualification. So there's the student member and the active student member, and that basically refers to someone who's registered with us while studying the qualification. You've got then affiliate membership, which refers to someone who's completed the accounting qualification in full but not yet demonstrated relevant work experience. And then you've got what we refer to as MAP members, who have completed the AAT qualification and demonstrated relevant work experience which meets AAT requirements. Something we introduced a couple of years ago was a bookkeeping membership. So having completed that advanced certificate of bookkeeping that we've showed you, you can obtain AAT QB membership and actually get a bookkeeping license as well to offer services independently, which we find is one of the key motivators for people doing the bookkeeping course, actually. So earlier on in the presentation, I talked about the membership aspect of AAT. So you're not just studying the qualification, you're a member with us. And as part of the package for being a member, you get access to sample assessments. So they're basically mock assessments that you can do in order to prepare for your real assessment. So a lot of training providers will use those as part of their programme of study. You also get access to what's called green light tests and e-learning modules. So these are really good for highlighting where your strengths and weaknesses are as you progress through studying each of the modules. You get career tips direct from employers and access to an online CV builder. And you can basically track how you're doing with regards to assessment results through what's called statement of achievement. So you can log in as and when you need to see exactly where your progress is in terms of how many assessments you've got left to complete, etc. And then there's the networking events, which is something I think gets a little bit overlooked, but I think it's a really good benefit of AAT, actually, that you can get out there and network with fellow professionals as well. and the CPD events and so forth. So as a package, actually, for what you pay, I think it's pretty decent value for money. So full membership, we refer to, or MAAT, MAT membership as it's sometimes referred to, that essentially allows you to put those letters after your name. If you complete AAT's accounting qualification, demonstrate relevant experience. It's good for professional development, and that's been proven with our salary survey to lead to an increased salary as well. To just give you that extra level of professional credibility, and allows you to apply for a practice license and offer services independently as well if you did want to go down the self-employed route. So in terms of contacting us for further information, so we've just gone through, left ourselves pretty much about 20 minutes left to go through some questions. But if you do want further one-to-one advice from an advisor from either AAT student recruitment team or directly from Training Link, you can do so using the details there. So student recruitment 0203 735 2434 are actually open 9 AM till 8 PM Monday to Thursday until 5 PM on Friday. It's old school, but we do get a few emails come through. So if you want to drop us an email, you can do so using studentrecruitment@aat.org.uk. Instant chat's available through our website. We're on Twitter as well, and we've got a Twitter handle which is dedicated to prospective students. So I'm guessing most of the audience is made up of people that are thinking about studying. So if you want to follow us, you can do so on there. We share content that's relevant for that audience. Laura?
Yes, so you can contact me direct, my email, or you can obviously contact me direct on the telephone. I just need a reminder because my mind goes blank all the time of what our phone number is.
Was it on the previous slide that we went through?
It wasn't, unfortunately. I did just notice.
We'll send it round after.
Exactly, yes. I'm very sorry. I always go blank when it comes to my telephone.
It'll probably come to you in a second.
It will.
Yeah, good stuff. So, we've left ourselves pretty much bang on 20 minutes to the questions. So you can see Juan's been pretty busy actually in the Q&A section. Yes. So thanks for helping out there, Juan. But now's the opportunity to ask questions to ourselves. So you can do so in the group chat box there, which a few of you have already used. So you can type into there, and if there's any questions about anything that we've covered today, there will be at the end, actually, I should mention, a survey, which allows you to give feedback on how you think today's gone. If you want to book in an appointment, you can do so through the survey as well and speak with one of us for further information or to request an appointment. But in the meantime, just if there's any questions at all. This happens sometimes actually, yes. But then we'll tend to get a flurry of them coming through at the same time. So if you could ask it into the group chat box. So here we go. So I can see a couple of questions there. So we'll just pick up on Stephen's question there, which I think is directed to you guys. So
Yes, we do.
Yeah?
Yes. Our self-study option also includes access to our online platform as well, so it's not just a book.
Okay.
So
do they get any tutor support at all, or is it
not just self-study?
Just okay, but they get the resources that they need to study the course essentially. Yeah. Okay, fantastic. That's great. I can see the Hawes asked a question: is it possible to do advanced course in accounting and also pick one module? It is theoretically possible to do that. It's not the typical route, I must admit. People tend to aspire to complete the level in full, don't they, rather than doing an individual module. The only thing I can think of is I have heard people just doing the bookkeeping and then the tax modules.
getting the license and then doing the tax units.
Yeah, that's the only instance in which that scenario likely to crop up. So hopefully that answers your question, Peter. So
we do the units separately, but you'd have to contact us for a price.
Okay, fantastic, thank you. So the question here from Hannah: is it worth essentially doing both the bookkeeping and accounting qualification, so one or the other? I suppose the accounting qualification gives a more wide-ranging skill set. So it depends kind of what your motivation or aspiration is, really, to be honest with you. So you're looking to qualify as a bookkeeper or have more options in terms of a finance career.
Yes.
And if that would make up your similar advice and guidance?
Yes, because the accounting qualification, I don't know if you would agree, Jen, especially with starting, is much more in, there's a lot more content, there's a lot more course
you've got
content.
the costing and the management accounting side.
So I think it all depends on what you're looking to achieve. And again, you could always contact someone to talk you through what might be best with your starting point. But yes, definitely one or the other pathway we would advise.
So that's our done level 3. How hard is level 4?
Question for Jen.
Level 3,
It is a step up from level 3. I won't lie. But it's doable. If you've got the determination and you want to do it, then you will do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that difficult if you're prepared.
It's quite difficult.
If you do the work, if you do all our assignments, if you do all my additional questions that I give you, then you'll be fine. If you don't put the work in, it's very hard.
Different nature. Essentially not. It's exactly the same, using the same system and software delivered through our Secure Assess platform. So from that point of view, it's the same type of assessment, same format. It's just, the key difference is really that it covers content from other modules that you've studied as part of the qualification. I would say, whether
would you agree with that?
Essentially, that's what it is, and they're held within those windows. That's the other thing as well. So just going through the questions here. So DAX are also after doing level 4 wants to see what am I exempt from?
You're exempt from the business
certificate of business accounting.
I was going to say
might be called something a bit different now, actually, but it's essentially their first stage, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. It's about the first year of the course, isn't it? I think essentially. So you're fast tracking yourself by a year.
They're also doing free exemptions.
Are they?
Yeah.
When starting, would you recommend they start with bookkeeping as opposed to going straight to accounting? It's kind of similar to that
very
question we got earlier, wasn't it? Yeah.
It's all about what you're looking to achieve, I suppose. As we've said, the accounting qualification, there is more course content. But there is no, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's no stopping you if you wanted to start with bookkeeping qualification and then perhaps move to the accounting pathway. That's also an option.
Yeah, and that's not unusual, actually. Some people will, for instance, just do the level 2 bookkeeping modules and they're using accounting software and then go on to do the level 3 accountancy from there, because there's not a huge amount of value in them doing the synoptic assessment or the costing module. They can just go straight on to level 3. But so just it really depends on the individual circumstances, I think, doesn't it? So, as a rule, we do tend to advise people to do the full level 2 certificate in accountancy. If you fail one of the assessments, no, so we're not that mean, actually. You just resit the failed assessment to answer the question there. So we don't. So
isn't there a limit on resits?
There is. If people that are doing a funded qualification, it's a good point, actually. It's people that are between 16 to 19 that study through funded education, so further education, most probably, then yes, you are restricted to 2 resits within the 2-year period. Other than that, so if you were to do distance learning and you're self-funding it, for instance, then that wouldn't apply. You can actually, obviously, hope that you wouldn't have to be in that scenario, but worst case scenario, that's the case. And I got the. I guess that might have been at a time, Chris, but thanks for clarification there. So we've got a little bit of time left for questions, but I think long is still little bit busy there. So anything else? So we had some really good questions there.
Some good questions there.
There we go. Do advanced loan loans cover assessment fees? Typically, I believe they don't actually, but you'll need to be training provided directly. You guys don't do advanced loan loans, do you?
No, we don't.
There's not a huge amount of providers out there that do for distance learning.
Not with distance learning.
No.
But the only FE college, isn't it? That do advanced learning loans.
Exactly.
The only thing I'd mention there is that we do have interest-free payment plans.
We do.
And it's something that might help. And I believe, depending on which package, some of them actually progress to 24 months. So that's a potential there.
Mainly colleges, yeah.
Yeah,
something
that's right.
we can actually have a chat with you about, Chris, afterwards, if you like, or an AAT advisor can have a chat with you about that, what the different options are.
Yeah.
Any other questions at all? Or? No.
Sure, if I have any experience with the best, but do you have any experience with Osborne Books resources if I have no experience?
So, Osborne are one of our main publishers, so materials are really good. I don't have any direct experience with them, but lots of training providers use them. I've got really good feedback about them. So yeah, they're one of our main publishers. The resource is very good, and lots of training providers use them. So that in itself, I guess, is an endorsement. But that's one of the things that's important around kind of speaking to potentially a few different providers, or getting an idea as to what their resources are and how well they suit you. Hannah, so similar to Miriam's question.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether you agree, Jen, but level 2 is still the starting point, regardless of no experience, whether you chose bookkeeping or accounting. It's
only 2 extra units.
Yeah,
2 extra units involved in the accounting pathways, and
it's constant and working effectively.
Yeah, it's not assessment. Yeah.
So it's not, I wouldn't worry about the no experience. I would just think about what your end goal is and what you're looking to achieve. And that's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah, that's good. I think way of framing it, yeah, exactly. Okay. Thanks, Lewis, for attending. Okay, just okay. So the screen said it was going to switch itself off, and that's what's going on. Just another slight
technical error.
We're all good. Good stuff. Thanks. Is there any other questions at all? We do have a little bit of time left, and I think Paul is still there. Just going to see if we've still got a few people in there. Cool. Natalie? Experience working in accountancy. So if you have some experience, you may be able to go straight on to level 3, depending on the confidence or competency within double entry bookkeeping. So what might be appropriate, depending on how confident you are in that area, you could potentially just do the foundations. Natalie could do the foundation certificate in bookkeeping, couldn't you, and then skip the other modules at level 2. Yeah.
We have got a skills test as well on our website that you can.
It's free, and it takes about 15 to 20 minutes to complete. So that might help to give an understanding of where to start.
Yeah. Start. Okay. AAT foundation. Yeah, so the foundation level we find in terms of where that sits in the job market is it's good in terms of that technical skill set required for an entry-level accountancy role, so accounts administrator, assistant, etc. I don't know whether you guys pick up the same. Brilliant, Miriam.
work experience, working for accountants for free, doing a couple of hours here and there, or if you've got some spare time, that'll help get your experience up. Some people do find it hard to find employment without experience. You just got to keep trying.
Definitely, it's back to the same point really. It's just the feedback I've had is that it's just a case of plugging away. The opportunities are out there. Okay. Every time you think the questions have come to an end, another one comes in, but it's all good. We're still here, so. All those actually give it just one more minute.
Yeah.
Me too.
We don't have any stats along those, if I'm honest with you, Keith. It's more anecdotal feedback we get from students and people that study the course or training providers as well. So, yeah, we couldn't give a percentage, to be honest with you. The feedback is that it just holds a good weight of currency within the job market and employers value it. But unfortunately, yeah, I can give you a percentage breakdown. Level 3, we've got a salary survey actually, Hannah, we can send across to you, which I believe has that level of information. So we'll pick up on that and send that across to you so you can see. It's actually broken down regionally as well. I'm not sure where you're based, but we can get that sent across and it will give you an idea. So I think we just touched on that, Robert. So level 2 accounting would be the entry-level accountancy role. So accounts administrator, accounts assistant. If there's any other ones you guys can think of off the top of your head, but it's really the entry-level job roles. Yeah, that's actually I think included in the salary survey as well. So I can send that across to yourself as well, Robert.
It's on the website as well.
There is some info on there as well, isn't there? Yeah. No problem.
It's on the where can AAT take you?
Yes. Okay then, I think that's pretty much it. We'll call it a day. Yeah, thanks very much for attending, everyone. Hope you found it helpful. We've got the additional support after today if you did need further advice, etc. Thanks, Miriam. That's great. There will be a survey that should pop up in a second, which will ask for some feedback actually. And you can also request an appointment either with ourselves, AAT, or we'll just answer that question quickly from Hannah actually, explain the exemptions that you get from doing it. So if you do the foundation certificate in bookkeeping, you get exemptions or credits, if you like, for the 2 bookkeeping modules, I can say within level 2 accounting qualification, which is bookkeeping controls and processing bookkeeping transactions. And then you've got the using accounting software module, which sort of sits within the bookkeeping strand, but that's also part of the accounting qualification. So you're exempted, if you like, from that module as well. Okay. Thanks, guys. Anyway, thanks very much for coming in, and thanks for attending, everyone. And we'll hopefully speak to you again soon. Thank you.